Hi, everybody. Well, today I went to the movie theater on a Saturday at 11 a.m. for a matinee to see Damien Leone's Terrifier 3, the newest of the trilogy, and the first film that I've seen as it came out in the theater. And let me tell you something, this movie was quite the experience. I'd heard reports of people getting sick, fainting, throwing up, wanting their money back, leaving the theater. I don't know how many of these are true, how many of them are marketing ploys, but the director and writer Leone says that it's true. It's not made up, and I can see why after having gone there. When I was in the theater, I saw, I think, a father and a son getting up and walking out, but then they returned back to their seats. Who knows? Maybe they needed a bathroom break. I don't know. But then later on, they both got up and walked out again. And I don't remember if they came back or not the second time. So take that as you will. I have to tell you, this movie's doing amazing business. I hear it's made $15 million, and this is only the second day it's been out. I think that was for the first day. I don't know, $15 million, but you have to realize that the budget is only $5 million. Okay, one of the sources told me $2 million, but whatever it is, it's doing amazing. In fact, I hear it's already beating the new Joker film, which is a big film at the box office. So this clown, Art the Clown, who's the star of this one, is beating Joker. Can you imagine that? Damien Leone deserves a lot of credit. I mean, he really made this a series that people are eating up. At least the fans. There's a strong legion of fans, as he says. I've already watched him in a couple of interviews since coming back from the theater, and learning a lot about him. He seems really like a nice guy. Nothing like, of course, you would expect from somebody who would write and make movies like this. Ditto for David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown. Art the Clown has become an icon in the horror industry. Yeah, he's the new Freddy Krueger. He's the new Jason from Friday the 13th, Michael Myers, Pinhead from Hellraiser. He is now one of the best horror characters ever. Like him or despise him, he just has a certain charisma, a certain flair, panache, a style in between mutilating and slaughtering his hapless victims that get chopped up, diced, sliced, chainsawed, hacked, stabbed in so many ways. I can't even keep it up in my mind. I got to get a scorecard. I can't even fathom it. There's so many, I can't even remember how many ways there were. This is the the most extreme grotesque slasher film I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of slasher films that were grotesque and over the top in the decades I've been watching these films. Not only American movies, but foreign films as well. And even I feel guilty at times. I'm watching this and I'm saying, why am I watching this? I remember when I grew up, the MPAA, Motion Picture Association of America, used to get on the backs of the people who were making the Friday the 13th series. And I saw the Friday the 13th series in theaters when I was 18 and in my early 20s, that age. And I got to tell you, I don't know how we ever got to the point where we can get an unrated film like this in theaters with this much excessive violence and blood and ghastly gore. It would be unthinkable, would have been unthinkable, you know, 40 years ago, whatever it was. And they keep pushing the envelope, pushing the envelope. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Nobody wants censorship. I know I never liked reading about the latest Friday the 13th film being censored, but you start to wonder if it's not a good thing to watch it a little bit, because children should not see this movie. No how, no way should children see this movie. Nobody under 18, under any circumstances, even with a parent. That's just my opinion. That's how strong it is. Well, let's talk a little bit about, first of all, the idea of the movie. There's not much to say, really. I made a mistake. Even though I saw the other two, I should have rewatched the second Terrifier before I went here, because I'd forgotten what happened in the last Terrifier, and I was lost in this movie. I was confused. Not the fault of the film, my fault. And I urge you, if you want to see this movie, it helps if you've seen 1 and 2 before, especially 2. Even if you skip 1, you have to see part 2 before this, because I've forgotten who the characters were and why this was happening and what that was about and how did it end the last time. So it didn't make too much sense. In addition to David Howard Thornton, who does a fantastic job as Art the Clown, uh, great performance by Lauren Lavera as Sienna, who was tangling with Art the Clown in the last movie and finished him off, and he met his demise at her hand, we'll say. And now she returns this time, naturally pretty screwed up from the experience, and has to tangle with him again. But the setting for this one is a Christmas setting. This is a Christmas horror film. And there's some supernatural elements in it, too. It's not all real, so to speak. It's just supernatural factors here, too. And Art the Clown has an accomplice, a woman with him who's all deformed. Also, I'd forgotten her story from the last movie. That's how long it's been. So it pays again to watch the second one. But they make a pair here that work together. Really creepy. That's all I could tell you there. But there's a Christmas backdrop to this one, and it makes this one of the best in the sense of sick, depraved Christmas movies out of that genre. I even liked it better than Black Christmas. I don't think this is a great film, but as far as this kind of thing, it delivers the goods, for better or for worse. The opening sequence, the pre-credits sequence, is really especially wonderful. It started off really perfectly. The cinematography, the pacing, the mood, atmosphere, the ominence of it, the silence, the Christmas vibe, the vibe of the holidays. It was Christmas Eve, I suppose, the night before Christmas, went all through the house. There is, I don't have a rhyme for it, there is Art the Clown dressed as Santa. And without going into too many spoilers here, I think you can imagine what he does to the family there. Okay, and that really, really set off the mood. And then later on, the things that occur in here, there's a shower scene, and it's no Hitchcock, I'll tell you that. What's going on here, that's pretty grotesque and extreme, and a lot of other scenes like that. Really sickening in a way. But if you have the stomach for it, and for whatever reason, you know it's just a movie, and you want to give it a shot, you'll see what I'm talking about. A lot of you won't. I will also say there are a couple of cameos in here. First of all, Clint Howard. It's a little more than a cameo. He has a decent scene in here. It's a good scene. The brother of Ron Howard, who pops up in a lot of these movies, and he's done his share of horror, like Ice Cream Man was one of them. Also, how about the 1980s makeup guru, Tom Savini? Tom Savini has a cameo in here as well. And overall, this is just intense, horrific, more disgusting than anything else. But you have to know what you're in for, and you have to be game before you decide whether you want to see it or not. For me, all I could say is bring on Terrifier 4. But, it's hard to rate a movie like this. If you were going to ask me, if you were rating this on the gore meter, what is it? I'd say, well, it's a 10 out of 10 on the gore meter. If you ask me, how is it as a horror movie? I'd say maybe like a 7 out of 10. If you would ask me how it is as just a regular movie, I'd say probably 1 or 2 out of 10. It depends what you're looking for. You get what I mean? Depends what you think. I just think for this series, it's going in the right direction. I think every installment's getting a little bit more satisfying, a little bit more improved over the last one. That's what I think. Let's see what you think. Let me know if you've seen the movie. All right, well, that's it, folks. Looking forward to whenever the next installment is, and talk again soon.